With the Norman Foster designed dome of the German Reichstag in the background, we are joined here in Berlin by Peter Eigen, the founder of Transparency International, one of the most renowned NGOs in the entire world in combating corruption, and now the chair of the Berlin Center on Civil Society. Peter, thanks for joining us.
I'm very happy to see you.
When you observe the events that are happening in the Middle East right now, particularly Tunisia, and the role of corruption in bringing down some of these governments, what comes to mind?
Well, corruption is destroying societies, destroying the economy, but also destroying democracy, or doesn't even allow democracy to grow. And therefore, it is not surprising that the people in these very vigilant countries, they don't accept this any longer. They don't accept it that the power elites in the country enrich themselves, that they take decisions in their own interest rather than the interest of the people. And therefore, corruption in its many, many forms has become one of the underlying evils which now, through rather destructive and revolutionary actions, will have to be repaired.
How do we make sure that the next set of governments in the region are less corrupt? And what is the role of organizations like Transparency International in making sure that they are less corrupt?
Our organization tends to empower civil society to participate not only in protests on the street, but also in developing a clear diagnosis of the weaknesses of the integrity system of the society, and then develop together with the others, with the private sector, with the public sector, with the new government, recipes on how the integrity system can be improved. And I'm very happy to say that already 2 weeks ago a team of Transparency International went to Tunis to discuss there the possibility of supporting the incoming authorities in making sure that through many different tools an integrity system is created, which will hopefully then lead to a more open and a more just society.
And Peter, you're very actively involved in the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, which covers about 35 countries right now, and is integral to facilitating transparency, clarity over payments, and better governance and management of oil revenues in oil-rich, resource-rich countries, particularly, of course, in the Middle East, but around the world. Can you talk about the role of EITI moving forward? What are the key cases that really matter? What are going to be the most significant countries? And give us some examples of success stories.
Well, first of all, I have to say that I just handed over the chair of the EITI at a big, wonderful conference in Paris 2 weeks ago to Claire Short, who's now the chairperson. But I will continue to, of course, work with EITI because I really believe that their approach is very powerful. It addresses corruption and addresses mismanagement in one of the most complicated sectors of the economy, that is the extractive industry sector. Oil, gas, mining, other extractive industries, forestry, and so on. And many people talk about the curse of extractive industries. And it is true. There are very few countries which manage to turn the riches of their natural resources into real development, into democracy, into economic progress for the poor in their countries. So one can even say, with a very few exceptions, say of Botswana or in the north Norway and a few other countries, with these exceptions, the revenue coming from extractive industries has not been a blessing at all to these countries. So in order to approach this, we started about 10 years ago a campaign which we called Publish What You Pay. And this coalition of NGOs, about 400 NGOs, which at the time were initiated by Global Witness and Oxfam and Transparency International, still exists. And they are now trying to put the onus of bringing transparency into the sector, not only on the companies, which we are very early on interested to help, so the Exxons and Shell and BP and so on, they were willing to publish what they pay in royalties and dividends and taxes and so on to their host countries. But we are continuing now and put this same onus on the host countries. And it was basically Obasanjo, the president of Nigeria, who introduced this in the year 2003 in his country. He said, in my country, in Nigeria, not only will the companies be allowed to publish what they pay to us, but we will make it mandatory and we will publish what we receive. And that's what we are doing now in 35 countries. And some of them are fully compliant, 11 of these countries, including important countries like Nigeria itself, like Azerbaijan, Ghana, Liberia, Timor-Leste, Mongolia. So there are quite a number of countries where they have reported for the first time ever the numbers about these huge payments to the government. And now the civil society in these countries, the parliamentarians, the media, they know for the first time how much money is being paid, and hopefully this will lead to more accountability and more openness and more stability in the sector.
Well, thank you, Peter Eigen, for being a crusader for good governance and for accountability. Thanks for joining us on foreignpolicy.com.
Thank you to listen.